Hey everybody, welcome back to Champnsons and our racing series where we are combining our Formula One dreams and our NASCAR team into one epic series. So we started out in the last episode with the Formula One team that we're now a driver there and trying to make things happen. But here we have to check in on our NASCAR Truck Series and Xfinity teams. So as that previous screen showed, welcome back to the channel if you're returning, and welcome here if you are new and joining us here in this racing series as we are getting the season kicked off at Daytona here in the Truck Series. Now we don't have a NASCAR team yet, but we do just have the Truck and Xfinity. Hopefully this season we can earn enough money to try to be able to get open up a NASCAR team, but most of this, really all of this revolves around having an influx of cash, which we're really going to try to feed off each other between Formula One and NASCAR. Hopefully build one dominant, essentially worldwide kind of team. And it's going to take some time, that we do know. Now here coming into our Truck Series, we've got our truck pretty well tuned up. It's not the max for everything, but it's fairly well tuned up, especially with our aero package and our ability to draft, and really helps us out in these super speedways like here at Daytona. So you see our qualifying time in the first lap was not ideal. It was definitely behind our goal. But one of the things that we do have, like I said, with our aero package is our ability to draft, and that's really how we get along in these races here on these super speedways. We've always done well because we've been able to draft. Now also in that sense, we've got a lot of friendships within the series. We haven't made a whole lot of enemies, so that also helps the fact that people are willing to be our draft partners throughout these races. And that's really helped us out, the previous seasons, and it's something we're going to have to rely on going forward. As you see, come in not a whole second behind, but just enough to be last place in qualifying. So that's going to be a little tough there. But as usual, most people are going to have mechanical problems or something go on where they need to fix something and drop down to the back. So we should move up some as we get ready for the Truck Series race here, the Next Era Energy 250 at Daytona. And as you see, a couple of guys starting at the back, so they had to forfeit their qualifying position. So that's going to move us up a few spots automatic. Now here we are in our red 41 car, sponsored by Love's, getting this Truck Series ready to go as we get ready for the green flag, and it has dropped here at Daytona as we are off in 29th space, looking to get those draft positions going, as we've already kind of started getting one, trying to get around Majeski, but he is going to edge out in front, and hopefully we can use him as a teammate. That's really what it's going to be about, especially with some of these restarts, is we're going to have to get good position as we hit the bottom apron. We got a little shaky on the turn right there going into turn number one, and we are going to pay for it, dropping up back basically to our original starting spot, but losing a lot of momentum. Now here we come up right behind Majeski again, and we have got our first draft partner of the day. It is going to be Self coming up from behind as we dive down low, almost going 3 wide here into turn number 3 on the opening lap, getting a shove from Self as we get pushed forward into the P27 spot. Still coming out of turn number 4 there in P27. Everybody's kind of grouped together. This little run to the tri-oval section here in front. And that'll complete the first lap here at Daytona. We've got 9 laps in total on stage number 1. So 8 more laps to go as we go 3 wide into turn number 1. Slide up a little bit. We hit wide. He starts shaking. He shakes, but he holds it together, and that causes a little drop off behind us as we hold true and stick up on Nemechek, and we decide to kind of push around him, use a little slingshot maneuver, shake and bake, if you will. And we drop down in front of him, and one good thing, Nemechek is basically kind of friends with us as we go 3 wide into turn number 3, and that is going to push us, but he's still got our draft partner coming into turn number 3, which gave us that little extra shove. Now, due to the careful drafting here in these first couple laps, we've already been able to move ourselves up into 20th spot. Getting all the way up to the top is not an immediate kind of thing, but if we play our cards right, we should be able to make some moves and kind of keep pushing ourselves forward, as we are right here behind Dean, trying to give him a little shove. And now we drop down low, and here we come around Dean into the P18 position. And sticking on the low side, Lessard gets caught in a 3-wide position. You do not want to be in the middle on those, as he gets a little shaky and he drops off, loses some speed there because of air quality. Now here we come into the P15. Austin Hill is in front of us. We're going to come up right on his bumper, not to give him just a little tappy. Let him know we're right there behind him. As we start to shove him forward, let him take advantage of the push that we can provide as we do continue to push our way up. Now here with a couple laps remaining in stage 1, we have moved our way all the way to P number 4. And that's what careful drafting can do. Now we had some separation. We try to dive down low to try to make a move here as we come down to the end of the stage. And we're not going to be able to get too far around as we have Creed on the outside. And like I said, they've got some decent cars, especially their engines are a little bit better than ours. At least they're getting the performance out of it. But we have to maintain our draft. We got a little cocky on it, and you can see in the mirror people are starting to catch up to us as us and Creed battle for the P3 position. Coming out of turn number 4 into the tri-oval section. There's just 3 laps remaining, about coming up across the line now. 2 laps remaining here in stage number 1. This is going to be a big 2 laps. We're looking to get some stage points here. I think it's Crafton coming up from behind us. As he starts to give us a little bit of shove, we should be able to get around Creed as long as he sticks with us in the draft. That's going to be the key, is they got to stick with us. And if we can maintain our spot, get a little extra shove, we can help drag them through also. As we come down the back straightaway, and that's actually Nemechek coming in. That wasn't Crafton, that is Nemechek gives us the shove, and he's going to push us forward quite a bit, giving us a boost to try to get behind Herbst and get into his draft. Which we are able to do here coming into the end of lap number 8, leaving 1 lap remaining here in stage number 1 at Daytona in the next era 250. P3 position, final lap of the stage. We're right behind Herbst. We are drafting on him hard. He remains high. We go down low. I was hoping he would follow us. He doesn't. So he sticks right there about middle line on the track. We're going to have to try to get behind him quick as he gets shoved right back up to the top. Herbst staying in P2. We get right behind him once again, trying to make another run here at the end of stage number 1. So this time we do try to stay high in his draft position as we can feel that draft pulling on our car. It is definitely pulling on us as we come into the end of stage number 1 in a P3 position. This is good to get some stage points, which is exactly what we need. In any of these races, the more stage points you can get, the better. So we will finish 3rd. That's going to give us 8 stage points, following up behind Spencer Boyd and Riley Herbst. Now here we are going to be into stage number 2, coming off a caution flag where we did have to go into the pits. Part of going into the pits is our team isn't the most efficient, so we do drop back some. And we dropped all the way to 19th, and now we got a bad restart coming into the final 3 laps here of stage number 2. Crafton trying everything he can. But look, we just don't have any of the airflow we need. We are struggling in that section. So we drop all the way back down to P24, trying to get a run going. As we got a couple line of cars coming, trucks coming from behind us here on the back straightaway. Majeski going outside. Crafton finally gets up on our bumper, and he's going to start shoving us forward. That's exactly what we need. We can get some good pace on these guys if we can get the draft. So coming out of turn number 4 here, we're still in P24, but we've got a pool going as we get right behind Greenfield. And he's been a pretty good partner of us, so he's going to maintain right in front of us as we get past, try to get out of the top 20 position. And P21, now we dive down low into bottom turn number 1. Roosh right behind us. He's going to give us a little shove through. Greenfield gets stuck in the middle. We're going 3 wide into turn number 1. And coming out of turn number 2, we have cracked the top 20. Here with just 2 laps remaining, we've got some good momentum and a good run coming for us. As we continue down the back straightaway, dive to the bottom of Lessard, make it 3 wide, coming into turn number 3. He doesn't want any of it. He does back off, and we come in a little hard into the bumper of Ankrum. He wasn't having as much momentum as we anticipated coming into turn number 3, so we do hit his bumper a little hard. But now we've got a good draft off of him, as we see some cars still behind us trying to go down low and fight into that draft area. So here we are down at the bottom of the front straightaway. Moffitt and Ankrum, we're a trio, a drafting trio coming into turn number 1 and out of turn number 2 here, all in a line. Sitting in P13, the final lap of this stage here, trying to get some additional points. Ankrum is in P12, coming down the back straightaway. We've got a pretty good shove. Moffitt, he kind of drops off a little bit. We lost some momentum with him. As we get into Ankrum into the 10th, we're still stuck in P12. Moffitt's right back up on us. We dive down low. Ankrum gets stuck in the middle, going 3 wide, coming out of turn number 4. We're in P11, right behind Chastain, trying to get that shove to get some additional stage points. Coming across the tri-oval, we're going to be stuck in P11. Oh, man, we missed out on the points right there. That was a close one. Gus Dean edged us out for those points. That's tough to have happen. So now it's going to be stage number 3, the third and final stage, coming in P11. And here we are at the green flag start. We got a poor start once again. We normally have some pretty decent green flag starts, but for some reason, these last 2 have been pretty piss poor. So everybody is basically going ahead of us. Just don't be overly abounded. Just be patient, be calm. We've got the draft capabilities. We've got the draft partners. We got a lot of laps remaining. We can pull this off. We just need to be smart about it and not damage the field. As Crafton comes shooting by like a rocket, Harmon giving him a little shove. Finally, Moffitt decides that, man, he's not going to get around me. It's better to join me, as he becomes our draft partner, coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3 and out of turn number 4. He gives us a shove. We come up right on the bumper of Crofton. He's chasing down Greenfield. They're sticking together pretty tight coming into the tri-oval section. So we got a little trio of drafts going between Greenfield, Crafton, and myself as we dive down low to try to get a run. Crafton stuck, going 3 wide into turn number 1. He shakes a little bit, but he does hold on to it. Greenfield sitting there at 16th as we shoot up behind him, tap his bumper, let him know we're there, and let's get moving a little forward. But he's not a big friend of ours, to be honest with you. So here we go, diving down low, taking some momentum. Roosh getting stuck in the middle on a 3 wide section. Same thing with Room. He's stuck going 3 wide into turn number 3. He holds it, but the line does drop off. And here we come sliding up to the top to try to get into some of the draft and prevent them from making a run. So in front of us, we've got Decker that we're going around. Friesen is sitting at P11. We're going to come up behind him and try to give him some shoves. Try to get him pushing towards the front if we can, as he stays down low here coming into turn number 1. Now our tires are getting a little worn because we had that pit stop at the last race in the last stage, so we didn't pit in between. So we do have to be careful as we slide up a little bit coming into turn number 1 there. And down this back straightaway, we're staying down low. Almost about to go 3 wide coming into turn number 3. Friesen maintaining P12. We're stuck in P13, not able to get a whole lot of momentum here. Finally, we got a third draft partner, and Friesen moves up. He gets stuck 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. And he's going to be dropping back as we get a little momentum. Austin Hill in P9, as he's not able to block us as we stay, and we have the push. And that push gets us all the way here to the front as we come in later with about 4 laps remaining now, as we are in P number 1. But here's the problem. Like I said, our engine performance isn't as top line as everybody else's is. We've had to rely on a draft to get here. So now we got to make this truck basically 4 lanes wide. Really 3 lanes wide, I guess, to be safe about it. 3 lanes wide, but we still need draft partners. All right, this is something we're still going to require to make these things happen. A lot of these guys are not going to, they're going to be racing to the end wanting to get the win themselves, so they're not going to try too hard to team up with us if they can avoid it and try to actually get a run around us. The only kind of semi-hope we have is that some cars do get a run going a little bit around us on the outside or something, and that will force, Chastain, Infinger, Gilliland, whoever's behind us, to really kind of give us a draft push, which should give us that last little bit that we need. As you can see, they are 2 wide behind us here. Everybody's in close coming out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And just like I thought, I believe that's Gilliland coming up on the right side there. It is. He's challenging for the P1 spot, and he will take it coming into turn number 3. As we stay down on the low line, it's a battle for the first position. Gilliland's got his draft partner. I've got nobody as of yet, but finally he starts coming up late. As we stay down coming into the tri-oval, Gilliland in P1, we're stuck in P2. Anderson trying to give him the shove, unable to do it. Chastain comes up late from behind us. Our tires are wearing and we're starting to lose a little bit of control there. As Gilliland takes off in front of us, it's us, Chastain, and Gilliland in the 1, 2, and 3. We dive down low. Chastain sticking on our bumper draft, giving us a push. Gilliland unable to fight off against the two of us. Coming down the back straightaway, he loses the P1 position, and we're still there. If Chastain can stay with us, we can separate from the group, but he ends up not. He gives us that last little nudge, which shoots us forward, so we're grateful. But man, if he had just stayed with us, we probably could have separated a little bit further. So coming out of turn number 4 here at Daytona, with 1 lap remaining as we cross the line, we're in P1 spot going for the win. P1 coming across the tri-oval. We've got 31 other cars trying to combat us. As they come up on the outside, Gilliland on the outside, he's going to make a run. He's got Anderson behind him. They get shoving forward. They're now in 1 and 2. Gilliland and Anderson, 1, 2. Chastain comes up behind to give us a shove coming out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway, we're looking at 3 wide. Gilliland is stuck in the middle. Anderson on the outside. Gilliland loses all air and speed. Chastain, he's going to give us a little bump. Chastain shoves us into turn number 3, shooting us out forward a little bit. Now it's going to be all defensive driving here. Coming out of turn number 4 into the tri-oval, Chastain and Anderson are going to be gunning for us. Anderson on the outside, Chastain on the inside. They're not going to be able to get the run they need, and we will take the Daytona Next Era Energy 250 to get this season started. Whoo, man, that took a lot of careful driving on that one. As we come into the little burnout section here after winning that race, fighting to the bitter end, knowing we were going to need to draft to finish this thing off. As we kind of do a little bit of burnout in front of everybody, just burn rubber, hit the wall a little bit, and why not? We won the race. We'll do what we want. As we drop back into the grass, let's start getting this truck swinging around here and messing up that paint job they did. As we are able to celebrate the victory here. Next Era Energy 250 truck win. And really, like I said, the aero package that we have is top of the line. It really is. So it's, which whenever your engine's not, it's best that we do have that. So at least in the super speedways, we've got really good competitiveness. In the actual speedways, we might drag a little bit, but it's going to be something that we're able to withstand. And I think, we can put up some good point finishes. And especially the more money we get, the better it's going to be with being able to actually, do upgrades on the engine. So we've got all of that going for us. Now, that's not the end of our race weekend. We do have our Xfinity race coming up here. And we're not new to the Xfinity team, but we're still kind of a more underfunded team. Right? So we don't have a whole lot of upgrades that we were able to do. So once again, we do rely on not so much teammates, I would say, but friends coming throughout to kind of help us get some pushes and get nudged up to the front. Once again, it's going to require drafting to get these guys, to get our car up there right now, just the way we're going to have to do it. Now, in Xfinity, the races are a bit longer, so stage number 1 is going to be 14 laps here. As we get this one green flag started, we have a pretty good start. McLaughlin stays in front of us. We do give him a little bit of a shove, but overall, it's a pretty decent start coming off the green flag, not dropping too far back. As we hit the back straightaway and things kind of clump up there, looks like we're going to be going 3 wide, maybe coming into turn number 3. Austin Hill gets behind us, and we are going to be 3 wide, little in the middle. We lose a little bit of control. The air goes off Chastain as we bounce off Little Chastain. Both drivers that we're normally pretty good friends with get caught in the middle. They do maintain their car. Now 3 wide coming across the tri-oval there, moving up into P27. A lot of momentum coming our direction here. As they get caught up in that air, those 3 wide, the more they can do that, the better for us. As we stick to the bottom now, right behind, I believe that's Nemechek in front of us. Williams in 23rd, yeah, Nemechek is in 22nd. So we stick right behind him, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Bilicki almost losing it. Trying to just avoid him at all costs if we can at this stage. He looked like he was out of control. So coming into turn number 3 here on lap 2, we're still in the 21st position, trying to get our way moved up, trying to get some drafting going, and finally we got Bilicki, who decided to jump in behind us. Said he didn't want to wreck us, figured he'd ride behind us. Coming across the tri-oval, giving us a little bit of an extra shove into Nemechek. Now we got a 3-way draft going here, Nemechek and Bilicki with us in the middle. Coming into turn number 1, we're maintaining the 3 line. As we lose traction, we dive down low a little bit. Kind of had to do it. Ran out of space up top, so we stayed down low. Bilicki still with us on our tail, moving into the top 20. Getting past Nemechek there. Coming down the back straightaway, running to Riley Herbst. Herbst, who really did, I would guess you could say, help us out in the Truck Series race unintentionally. There around the end of stage number 1. But it's one of those things that, man, you appreciate a teammate whenever you can, a good guy whenever you can, but at the same time, we got to race each other. So now we're going to jump up to the end of stage number 1. We have moved into P11. We've got 3 laps remaining here as we come out of turn number 1 and into turn number 2 down the back straightaway now in P11 right behind Haley. Haley gets down on the bottom side. He's in P10. We're going to go 3 wide here. As these guys get caught in the middle, Burton, nowhere to go. Once you get caught in the middle, it's like you lose all air push and really aerodynamics, and it just causes you to drop back significantly. So Burton does drop back, and he falls in line right here behind us as we move into the P10 spot. Coming down the tri-oval portion of stage number 1 here with now just 2 laps remaining. In P10, we have worked our way up to a top 10 spot. So Burton and Haley, it's going to be the trio that we've got going now coming into turn number 1. And down the back side of the way, everybody's pretty much lined up for how it is. We just need to try to find those little gaps down these back straightaways here. As we stay down on the low side, we got some clean air. That should give us a good little shove in going forward. We've got some momentum now coming into turn number 3. As we stay down low, and that's going to get us into P9. Haley trying to pull us up. We do finally move up into P8 coming out of turn number 4 here. Across the tri-oval, we've got a good shove. Coming into the final lap as we move down. Haley does too, finally. Actually, really, we tried to get the inside edge on Haley, just couldn't pull it off. So now coming into turn number 1 of the final lap on stage number 1. Hit the apron, lose some momentum, but that really just causes Burton to drop off some. Look at our tire wear. Our front right tire's at 78% already. We're pushing it hard coming out of these turns. So now in P7 here, as we are moving on through, Cindric is in P5 position, being shoved by, who's that, Black on the outside there, number 7? Yeah. And now we've lost a little bit of our draft. Haley pushes off in front of us. Algiers in P4, but we've got a pull once again. This moves us up into P5. We're looking at a top 5 position here at the end of stage 1. And we actually get 4th. You got to be kidding me. P4. 7 stage points in the Xfinity Series. That's what we need. So after that stage 1 finish, we do not pit, and that's going to send us here into stage number 2. As we get set, another 12-lap stage for us right now. As we get a good start on this one, maintaining, moving up from P4 down to P3. This has got some potential here as we take the inside edge and give ourselves a little push behind Sieg, moving up into P2. Lose a little bit coming out of those turns. That right front being worn is starting to bother me some. That's one of these I'm really hoping it's able to maintain for the remainder of the stage without causing too much of a problem. Finally, Haley gets on our draft, and it starts to give us a little bit of shove as teams start going around us on the outside. So coming into turn number 3, they are 3 wide up there in the middle with Cindric up high, Sieg in the middle, and they all hold their line. But Cindric takes over P1. So we hop up behind Gregson. We got a 3-way draft coming into the tri-oval there. And Gregson will take P1 here at the end of that lap, giving us a shove. Cindric in P2 on the outside. They're battling back and forth for the first position as we're just holding tight with where we are, trying to get some good pushing and give some people a little bit of separation. And finally, we get around them, and now coming down the back straightaway, we've got a little bit of space, us and Gragson. Haley's still on our tail, but Haley is backing out and losing some momentum. So it's us and Gragson coming on through here for the turn number 3. And here comes Haley down low, it looks like, trying to give us a little bit of a fight. Coming out of turn number 4 here into the front tri-oval. We go down below Gragson. We got a P1 position. Can we hold it crossing the line? And we will hold P1 after that lap. So here's the third lap of the stage. We got about 10 more to go as we get the shove going into turn number 1 here, getting a little bit of momentum from Haley, giving us the push coming in turn number 1 and out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. This is where we can have problems. We can get caught right here with all the traffic that is behind us. And you see them slowly starting to work their way up on the outside. As they do, they bump into us on that one. That's going to cause us to get stuck in the middle here. Let's just hold on for life. Sieg comes up from behind to try to save us as we are being squeezed out coming out of turn number 4. As we're making contact with different drivers. That's not what you want to have happen. And finally, we do cross that line. But here, still in a constant battle coming up to the end of stage number 2. The final 2 laps, we are still battling for P1. That's one of these, we keep dropping off, we keep regaining it. Keep dropping off, keep regaining it. Coming out of turn number 2 here, if you look at our tires, our right front's at 57%. That makes me nervous. It makes it kind of hard to hold on to some of these turns, especially when there's a lot of traffic in the area. And so down the back straightaway, maintaining, looking to try to get some stage wins and the stage points here. So coming out of turn number 4, they're going to go ahead and call it as there was a wreck behind us. And that is going to give us a stage win and 10 stage points, which is exactly what we need. Now after a pit stop, after stage number 2, we drop all the way back to the 15th spot. But if we can get a good start off the green flag, like it seems we've got some good traction here moving forward, we might be able to get some good drafting going and really give ourselves a shove and a little pool coming around this track into turn number 1 here at the start of stage number 3. Coming in hitting hard, coming up behind Martins, giving a little bump, letting them know we're there. As we hit out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway in P12 position. Cars kind of jostling right now, but really needing to settle in if they can. Us, Martins, and Burton team up to kind of become a 3-way draft cycle right here into turn number 3 as we stick to the bottom of the track and coming out of turn number 4. Maintaining our line, that should give us a decent little pull here coming into the tri-oval as we will get moved up into P10 here after 1 lap of stage number 3, sticking on Martin's tail, getting some momentum going forward. 3 wide into turn number 1 in front of us. Everybody holding steady as we're at the bottom of the track. Sieg loses it a little bit, getting a little loose as we also almost make contact with him. He does drop back, and that's going to put us into P7 here coming down the back straightaway. As now we move into the turn number 3, 3 wide with Algier and Labe on the outside. We hit Algier, give him a little nudge and move up in front of him. That wasn't anything that we lost control. That was a get out of my way and I don't like you kind of little bump. All right, we didn't shove him, we didn't nudge him, we didn't do nothing. All right, we gave him a little bump. Bumping, son, is racing. And that's not how the quote goes, but it's what worked in this situation. So they are 3 wide behind us, 3 wide in front of us coming into turn number 1 here in P5. As we move forward, sticking to Martin's tail. He's been a good draft partner for us so far. Now he kind of splits out from us at the end of coming out of turn number 2, leaving us in the back. As Annette is going to end up trying to battle with Sieg to get our draft partner. But Annette ends up winning that one, so now we stick to the bottom with Annette as our draft partner, moving back into the P5 position. Martins did not have the run he wanted to have coming out of that one, so that's going to leave him in 2nd place. As we come up behind and give him a shove, moving us into P3 here at the end of that lap. Now we're going to jump ahead into the final laps of this stage. Not much has happened other than maintaining our position. Haley, though, has worked his way up to the front. Haley coming into turn number 1 here with about 5 laps remaining. And out of turn number 2 on the back straightaway. We have been pretty much sticking to Haley's bumper, which, if you can see the traffic behind us, has really kind of shoved everything back because we've been able to get some separation from them. And really, it's one of these, I want to have them shoved back so that way we can try to make a run as we do dive down to the inside here on turn number 3 and coming out of turn number 4, unable to get the momentum we need. And so now the problem with that is Haley started to get some separation. And they're going to cross over the first placement. Here comes the rest of the crew. We lost some of that draft power with Haley, and now the cars are starting to come up from behind us, needing to make sure to make something happen. We go down to, if anything, at least block coming into turn number 1. And then out of turn number 2, keep these guys behind us. Now, they got some drafting going behind us, and we just try to get in. Just give us a little taste of it, fellas. Just give us a little taste, as we got to basically go 3 lanes wide and start blocking some of these cars. As we come into turn number 3, sticking into the middle lower line, as everybody else goes around high on the outside. Now, they've got, like I said, they've got their draft partners, so they've got some speed to be able to do it, some momentum, some push. As we come across the tri-oval portion, maintaining P2, but Haley has gotten some separation now. Haley's got some serious separation in front of us. We got 3 laps remaining. And we're going to just try to hold on to P2. That's what it seems like this is a battle for. But on the outside, I believe is that Sieg coming up on the outside there? It is. He's got space on the outside. He gives a shove. He's going forward. Black giving him a little push. As they go into 2 and 3, we drop all the way back to the P4 position. And really, everybody's racing for themselves right now, it seems like. And I just cannot get a draft partner that we need. We're going to have to be careful and try to hold on. We got to be defensive if we want to try to maintain some of this position. Into the tri-oval, we're going to have only 2 laps remaining now as we drop back to the P4 spot. Keep trying to push coming into turn number 1. Everybody else stays up high. We go down low. Sieg in P2. We've got a little bit of a run. Hopefully we can try to take him over coming out of turn number 2. We've got P2 for now. We've got some space, but he's got a draft partner, and here they come up the middle. As we start to have to block, and that's going to cause us to lose some speed as we lose the position to Sieg and Black once again. Down on the bottom side, it looks like Cindric trying to come up to draft with us. As we get in front, he's going to end up pushing us down low. We lose it. We almost lose him coming back. He's bumper to bumper with us as he almost spins us into the wall, and we back off. Cindric. He's making a shove. He's now into the P4 spot. We've dropped back into 5th on the final lap here at the Xfinity race here in Daytona. Following up behind Cindric. P5 trying to give him a push. As we come around on the bottom side out of turn number 2, we are the draft partner with Cindric. He's in P2. We're stuck in P4, and we finally push out Sieg as we take over the P3 spot. And it's going to be hard to determine when to try to take over P2. Cindric's he knows us pretty well. As you can see, he's sticking to the bottom. He is going to dive down if we try. And we're going to lose all momentum if we try to go high. And so Cindric staying in front of us. It's going to be a battle for P2. And we are not going to have what it takes to get around him as we make a last-ditch effort. It's pretty pointless. But we do finish 3rd, which is a positive finish. I mean, it's not a bad finish. We finished 3rd here. And really our car probably was a middle-of-the-pack kind of car. But with some good drafting, we were able to make things work out for us, but you saw kind of how stuff did for us in the end as some of those cars went flying past us here in this race. We had our time up front, we did, but we knew that it was going to be short-lived, that there wasn't going to be much we could do to fight those guys off. It's one of those things that it is what it is right now with our Xfinity car. So now, while we are taking a look at some of these replays of us up front, I do want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it already. And if you did like today's video, definitely give us a thumbs up, as it does really help out the channel. And I'm truly, truly grateful for everything y'all have done for us here at Champnsons. So in the next episode, I believe we will be back with some Formula One racing as we check in back over there across the pond, as they say. To see where we are at in that season, how we're progressing. You know, are we ready to take a team on in the Formula One? But this has been definitely an interesting race for us. Overall, a pretty solid performance, I would say. Xfinity-wise, we dropped off from the pit crew, so we definitely need to update that. Get those guys upgraded and going. Once again, it's just a money game. It's going to cost a lot of money, even more so as we kind of go. And if we want to think about getting a NASCAR team, it's going to be even doubly the money. So a lot of different things happen that we got to take into account here with our season. But we'll take a look at all of that stuff in the next episode, everybody. So as always, stay safe. And y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.